The AI plagiarism arms race is over, and the teacher's lost. That's what you hear in the faculty lounge. Late at night, you feel it, staring at a perfectly structured, soulless paragraph that you know a 7th grader didn't write. But that's the wrong war. We were never going to win by trying to out-detect a machine. We lost when the fight became catching cheaters instead of celebrating students. Today, that ends. I'm showing 5 lesson designs no AI can replicate. They are impossible to fake, because they require a human soul, a real place, and a thinking, feeling person. If you feel tired, angry, or small when you find another chatbot-polished essay, you are not alone. This is for you. Every K-12 teacher and school leader drowning in perfectly formatted, plagiarized text. These are 5 real, practical lessons you can use next week. Simple, hard for AI to fake. Most importantly, they shift grading back to the human, not the data. Why now? Feb 9, 2026. Because the tools are getting exponentially better. But wait until you see strategy number 4. It's the one even my honors students couldn't bypass. AI models write fast, they sound smart, they can ace multiple choice tests and churn out 5-paragraph essays while you brew coffee. Brilliant mimics of final products. But an AI has never sat in your classroom. It has never heard a student's nervous laugh before a presentation. It has never felt the rough edge of a cardboard model a child built. It cannot record the late-night struggle. It cannot show the erased pencil marks. It cannot capture the proud, tired smile of a job well done. So we must change how we teach. Design tasks that demand evidence of life outside the algorithm. Assignments that require students to use their bodies, their voices, their communities, and their unique, messy, beautiful minds. Build moats of authenticity a machine cannot cross. It's not about making things harder. It's about making them meaningful. These 5 strategies aren't just about beating AI. They're about better teaching. Let's get into the first one. A lesson that forces students out into the real world. And stick with me. Number 2 is where we make the process visible in real time. A local legend interview is exactly what it sounds like. Students must find and interview a real person in their local community. This isn't about finding the mayor or a CEO. It's about finding the human texture of a place. The person could be the school custodian who's worked here for 30 years, the baker who knows everyone's name, the librarian who remembers when the town flooded, or an elder who can tell a story about the street they live on. The interview focuses on a specific local story. Students prepare questions, conduct the interview, and record it. The evidence they submit is not just a typed summary, it's the raw, real conversation itself. A sophisticated AI can generate a flawless fictional transcript, a character, a story, a setting, but it cannot go to your town, capture a local accent, neighborhood slang, or the sound of a train passing in the background. An AI cannot generate real audio with authentic pauses and stumbles, or a photo of the interviewee and their environment with a timestamp. Here is a simple example you can use in your class tomorrow. Find and interview someone with a story about your school from more than a decade ago. It could be a former student, a retired teacher, or a neighborhood resident. Record at least 5 minutes. Submit the raw audio, 1-paragraph reflection, and 1 location photo, the triangle of authenticity that's incredibly hard to fake. Teach 3 open-ended questions. Model 1, give a consent script, set a 1-week deadline, then grade the questions and the reflection. Next, watch what happens when creation happens live. A live vibe check build is an in-class timed activity where students create something in front of you. The vibe check is you observing the process, the energy, and the thinking in real time. This isn't about high-stakes performance, it's about making creation visible. Build a snippet of code, a collaborative digital poster, a physical prototype, or even a stanza of a poem on a whiteboard. While they work, students explain choices out loud, thinking aloud, so you watch the journey, not just the destination. AI excels at instant polish, a perfect block of code, a finished design, a complete poem. It cannot simulate the messy, beautiful human path to get there. In a middle school coding class, set a 30-minute challenge. Code a simple program that makes a character jump. Students work solo or in pairs, screen shared, narrating process.
Okay, first I'm defining the gravity variable. Oops, I made a syntax error, let me fix that. I'm not sure why the jump is so floaty, so I'm going to try changing this value.
The goal isn't a perfect game, it's articulated thinking. At the end, each student shares one bug and how they solved it. Try a 20-minute low-stakes build with Google Slides, Canva, or markers. Require a 60-second presentation. One choice they made, one problem they solved. Grade, with a simple checklist. Participated, explained a choice, identified a problem. Now, let's move from individual creation to group discussion, where the evidence is in the ink.
And wait for strategy 4. It's
A Socratic seminar is a classic for a reason. It's a structured, student-led discussion designed to explore a text's complex ideas. But we're adding a crucial, AI-proof layer. Students must prepare with handwritten notes, personal thoughts, questions, and connections on physical paper. They use these notes to guide contributions, then turn in annotated notes plus a brief reflection on how the talk changed their thinking. AI can generate talking points, scripts, perfect summaries. It cannot produce a student's unique handwriting, coffee stains, doodles, arrows, or furious crossouts. A live conversation is dynamic and unpredictable. Machines can imitate, not experience. Choose a provocative short story, poem, or current events article. Homework. Fill one page with handwritten questions, connections, and quick emotional reactions. In class, arrange a circle for 20 minutes. You listen and gently guide. Then 10 minutes to reflect. What idea did you hadn't considered before, and how did it change your understanding? Teach a simple 2-column note format. Textual evidence, my reaction. Run a 5-minute practice seminar on a single image or paragraph. Grade for growth in thinking, not perfect grammar. What about long-term projects? Our next strategy will blow your mind. It's the one that makes the process the product. An annotated iteration log is a mandatory journal that tracks the evolution of a project over time, a process diary. For any multi-step assignment, research paper, lab report, art project, students document work at stages. Each entry is dated with a brief annotation. What they did, what feedback they received, what changes they made. The log shows dead ends, breakthroughs, and slow, steady revisions. AI can spit a brilliant draft or 3 variants, but not a realistic dated annotated history tied to real feedback, handwritten Tuesday comments, or time-stamped peer sessions. In a high school history paper, require the iteration log with the final essay, at least 3 dated entries. Entry 1. Brainstormed research questions. Entry 2. Photo of printed rough draft with handwritten peer feedback plus a paragraph explaining what changed and why. Entry 3. Screenshot of revised introduction and a note on thesis improvement after your conference. The log makes the process as important as the paper. Quick step. Require a 2-entry log on your next assignment using a Google Doc with 2 columns, date and what I did, and why I made this change and what I learned. First entry. Initial outline. Second entry. Revised introduction due 48 hours before final. Answer. What specific feedback helped me improve? Section 6, Lesson 5, Physical Artifact Projects. Bring learning off the screen and into the 3-dimensional world. Students make a tangible thing with their hands, a diorama, a scale model, a functional sundial, or a large hand-drawn biology poster. Culminate with a live presentation, materials used and problems overcome. AI can describe or render a 3D model on a screen. It cannot hold the recycled parts car, show faint glue marks, fingerprints in paint, or be there when a model breaks and gets fixed. The imperfections, material choices, and tactile reality are direct evidence of human effort. Ask students to build a water cycle model in a clear shoebox, and document the process with 3 photos. Gathering materials, mid-build, finished product.
In a gallery walk, each student gives a 1-minute talk. What was the hardest part, and how did you solve it?
Quick step. Announce a 1-week build tied to your unit. Try a character box, a shoebox with 5 physical items representing a character, plus 1 in-progress photo from home. Grade the artifact and the quality of verbal explanation. Celebrate the physical evidence of thinking. Next, booster packs that make any of these lessons even more AI-proof. Section 7, Designing for Humanity. Tips to make these lessons stronger. First, build and use human-centered rubrics. Stop grading only the final text or the correct answer. Create criteria that explicitly reward voice, choice, growth, and documented effort. If your rubric values the process, students will value the process. Make invisible work visible and give it credit. Second, embrace multimedia evidence. Require audio files, short video clips, photos of work in progress, and screenshots with timestamps. Each anchors work in real time and place. Third, build structured peer accountability. Have a classmate sign and date a draft, run short in-class peer reviews, and set buddy checks for weekly process logs. Finally, end the giant 40% paper. Design shorter, frequent assignments, weekly live builds, bi-weekly interviews, monthly artifacts, more data points, less pressure. Make the process public and checked often. Ready for the mindset flip that makes AI cheating pointless? Let's grade the human, not the data. Section 8. Grading the human, not the data. Let's change the question. For years we asked, did a computer write this? An exhausting question that turns us into detectives and students into suspects. Ask, what does this work show me about what the student learned? Move from punitive catching to assessing growth. Use rubrics that reward struggle, creativity, revision. Give points for process, interview audio, iteration logs, live build narration, physical artifacts. Imagine 5 equal parts. 20% voice, local detail. 20% process log drafts. 20% live or recorded presentation. 20% documented problem solving and revision. 20% final product. A flawless AI essay earns a failing grade here. Be direct. AI is a powerful tool. In our class, it's a calculator for brainstorming or a tutor for feedback, not a ghostwriter. Establish norms. You must show your process. Offer sentence starters to disclose AI use. I used an AI to help me brainstorm 3 topics, and here's how I chose one. If dishonesty happens, have a conversation. Ask them to walk you through their process. If they can't, it's a coaching moment. This doesn't show your thinking. Let's redo it to show your learning journey. Section 9. Your turn. A call to reclaim our classrooms. The arms race is over because we're changing the game. We are not fighting a machine. We are teaching a human. Designed for a human body, a unique voice, a series of mistakes, pride, and a connection to a real place. Making AI cheating difficult and deeply unsatisfying. Local legend interviews, live builds, Socratic seminars with handwritten notes, annotated iteration logs, physical artifacts. They're not assignments. They're declarations that human experience matters. You know your students. You are a designer, a coach, a curator of learning. The challenge of AI invites us to do the most human parts of our job even better. Act now. Choose one quick step and try it next week. Teach an interview, run a 20-minute live build, demand handwritten notes for one discussion, or share the strategy that sparked you. Comment below with your biggest AI-generated student fail, and grab the Human-Centric Rubric template in the description. Grade the human, not the data.